please, can you come online? Let me ask. Sorry, family call. I've not been able to download that thing. No. I don't have space to do that thing. I'm telling you, I don't have. Mm. Do you have materials for them for this one? I think you're going to be doing DAX or VAX, or what do you call it? Yes, I can see you. So, Brole, or Engineer Leye, sorry. So I'm handing over to you. I need to step out. I have another meeting just right now. I think, can you hear me, Bole? You have access to, you can share your screen. At least you don't need me to do anything to do that. I think you already have the right to share, isn't it? Can you please unmute so I can know before I step?
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I said you can share your screen, can't you? Can you?
Yeah, I think so. I'm even trying to. Sorry. Oh, is this the right? Sorry. It's my. Yeah, I can share my screen. I can see everything. So I think we're good. Can you hear me? Good evening, Chigozie. Good evening, Pelumi.
Good evening, sir.
Okay. Welcome to the last class.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I wasn't around last week. I wasn't available, but I was able to go through the recording.
Okay, that's good. All right, we'll just wait for 2 minutes and see if any other person is joining us, because I know 2 people already called in that they were not going to be able to make it, so they're looking forward to the recording. So it might be a very light class today.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Chigozie, can you just say something or type something just so we know you're there?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Live and clear.
All right. Thanks, everything.
Okay.
I'm grateful that you extended it to this time. I've not been
Sure. I hope you have your
last 2 sessions, but I've been following on the videos.
okay. I hope you have your PVC. That's a requirement for joining this class.
Even if I have PVC, it's of no effect since unless have they enabled the people in diaspora to vote?
Nah, I doubt it. Belumi, this is your picture. It's always reminding me of COVID, though. Eh?
Yes, it was at that COVID time.
Oh, wow.
I will change it one of these days.
At all. Hey, just 1 more minute and we'll just go through. Today is going to be a bit interesting. We'll be going into a bit of DAX calculations, which is a bit the computational side of Power BI. So we'll go through a few functions, then very quickly we'll touch on Power BI service, which is the publishing aspect of Power BI. Okay, yeah, so that's really what we're doing. Can you all see my screen, please?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, very quickly. Last week, I think I touched on the concept of joins. I wasn't sure if it was clear to people, but I got this picture, from the internet anyway. It just pretty much explains, the concept of joining 2 tables and the different types of joins you have. So if it's a standard thing in database management, if you're going to learn SQL, basically combining 2 tables, how you can do it. But these are really the most common basic types of joins, how you join tables, inner, left, right, and full outer join. And that's it. Okay. And today we'll be looking at DAX, like I said. And please, again, if I'm going too fast, just feel free to slow me down, stop me, and we'll make it work. So like I said, DAX stands for data analysis expressions, right? So aside from the drag and drop, nice GUI, graphical user interface you have in Power BI, if you've used Excel a fair bit, you know that there are Excel users and there are Excel users with the capital U, so DAX is almost like it's a computational side. And if you're used to writing formulas in Excel, it's just another step above that. And the DAX functions we have can really be divided into 5 types, maths and stats, logical, text, filter, date, and time. The names are quite, it speaks for itself. And under each type, you have the different ones. So you have if you go under the maths and stats, the common example, sum average, which is pretty much, as the names, from the names you can infer Same with the logical ones, the if, and, or, and stuff. Again, if you've used Excel, well, the text functions won't be too strange to you. But where DAX takes it the higher notch is the filter functions and the date and time functions. So we're going to touch on just very few of this because we don't have the time, just so you know how it works. And hopefully we'll get something from there. Okay, just so I know, would you guys be watching or typing along? What's your preferred format?
I think
My format, okay, let's go first.
What?
Okay, the format I'll be adopting is to watch through, then I'll
Okay.
practice after.
Okay, that's fine. How about you, Chigozie?
yeah, I don't have any problem. I can practice it better.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So it's pretty much going to be like I said. If anything is not clear, feel free to stop me in my tracks, rewind, and we'll take it from there.
Correct.
So let me stop this sharing and go to my. Let me try and launch Power BI in the background here. First of all, I'll pretty much just kick off from where we started last week, so that it's a bit easy for everybody. Let me see. Where are we? Okay. Just taking a fair bit. Let's see. Okay, it's launching now. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
No, we can't see your screen.
Okay. Let me see.
Okay, now it's on.
But this is not what I was looking for. Sorry. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you very much. Apologies for that. Okay, so we'll be looking at DAX. I think we got up. I mean, is everybody familiar with this? Did you get through this last week, the conditional formatting aspect, right?
Yes, I was able to get through with the recording.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, I'm just going to create a fresh page here, right? And before we go into DAX, I need to quickly explain the concept of calculated columns versus measures, right? Now, the easiest way for me to explain the two and show you the differences is by doing, right? So when you say calculated column, it's pretty much, the way you want to add, another column, say in Excel, maybe you just want to add, if you remember this, let me go to products, sorry. Close this. This is our products hierarchy table. Remember this table, right? Can you see this?
Yes, we can see it.
You can see this table.
Yes, we can see the
Okay.
table.
You can see the length, depth, and width, right?
Yes.
Okay. So imagine I just wanted to create another column called volume, right? And just insert it into this, right? Very easy.
Yes.
In Excel. So that's the calculated column. So it's basically an additional column, and you determine the logic of what goes into that column. That's basically what a calculated column is. And the key thing is, when you insert or add a calculated column, it stays in the data model. That's one thing to note. So very quickly, let's just go to this, our product hierarchy table right here, right? I want to create a calculated column. Now, when I click it, now, if you see under table tools, you can see that new column, right?
Yes, we can see.
If I right click on it, new column, very easy. So it's telling me, okay, I want a calculated column in that table. What should I call it? Let's call it volume, right? And what's the formula for volume? Length.
Width.
Yeah, I mean, Excel is smart enough. There's intelligence. So as you're typing, it's giving you the option. So it's telling me length. Now, the way it comes is, this is length. That's the column I'm looking for. But before that column, there's product hierarchy. So that's the table. Table first, then the column, right? Does that make sense? So one length.
Okay, first.
Times width, right?
Yes.
That's width. And times what?
Times the height.
Okay, I think we use depth. If you look, we use depth there.
Depth. Okay.
Yeah, so D-E-P-T-H, so depth. So that is, okay, this has already been done before. Let me just call this, volume 2, just so when I was doing it. Okay, so that's volume 2, right? Now,
Yes.
if you go into the data model, can you see volume 2 here at the end?
At the end, yes, we can see it.
So basically, you get the logic. That's basically what a calculated column is, similar to what we've always done in Excel. Now, the new concept I'm trying to, in fact, let's create a table very quickly where we can have all this in, right? So let's have our order ID. Okay, that's order ID. I want the individual orders, so I don't want to summarize. Okay. Let's add the product brand. Okay, you can see the product brand, right? Okay. Now, oops. Okay, let's add the volume that we just added. No, sorry. Let's add the volume. Okay, I'm trying to bring in. Okay, I've just noticed something about my price column. Because I can't see the summation sign, that's telling me from the data view, the format is not correct. So very quickly, I will go and see what's going on there, just to make sure it's working. Okay, price, that's it. So I have NA values. I'm fishing it with 2 zeros. Then I'm changing that type to fixed decimal. Okay. So let me close and apply. I'm back here. Okay. Okay, that's fine. So remember this volume, let me just use okay. Now, look at the product brand. Remember this, our volume was a calculated column, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, we can also work with text as well. So say, for example, this product brand, right? The name is too long. I want to shorten it. I can do that as well. So let's go into the same product hierarchy. Create a new column. Now I'll just call it product short. Now there's a function in Excel that allows me to, maybe I want to take maybe just the first 15 or 10 characters only, right? That's the left function, right? And the good thing about it is it tells you what you can interpret this, right? This is really helping you to interpret what the formula does. So it's asking for the text, in this case, what column we are looking for, and number of characters. So what's our column? I think it's product brand, right? Product
brand.
Yeah. Can you see product brand here? That's it, right? And say I want to just take maybe the first 15 characters only, right? So that's done. And if I want to check, let me bring this. Yeah. If I want to check to see that it's okay, this is product short. Let me drop product short in here next to product brand. This thing is taking so long to get into. Okay. Can you see that now?
Yes, it has reduced.
Now I can now, let me just remove the product brand. It's just too long. Let me just remove it from my model. We know what we're dealing with anyway. Okay, so pretty much that's calculated columns. Any questions?
Yeah. So yes, didn't.
Were you saying something, sir?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah. How you removed the product brand, the long one. I would like if you can repeat the process.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm basically just going to add it back from here. See,
Okay.
Drag and drop. My machine is quite slow today, so I mean, it's going to come up back. I've dropped it into the model, so it's going to come into the model any moment from now. Can you see it now?
Yes, I've seen it.
So if I want to remove it, I'm just going to click the X next to it, and it's just going to pop out like that.
Okay. Thank
Does that make sense, sir?
you. A lot.
Okay. Okay, so let's say now I want to now start going into the DAX functions, gradually, one by one, right? Say you want to calculate, 5% of the average price for every product, right? Now think about it. We have different products. Now I want to calculate the average price. Then after you calculate the average price, 5% of it, maybe you want to run a promo discount and you want to take 5% off a product line. This is a very quick way to do it. Now, the efficient way to do that is using a concept called measures. I'm going to show you how you add a measure. Then I'll explain the differences between it and a calculated column. So let me remove. Okay. So let's add our measure here, right? New measure here, or you can get that from here. So let's do new measure. So what should we call our measure?
Sorry, where did we get the new measure from?
Just right click any table, pretty much the table you want to insert. I mean, because the thing is, the measure itself can float about. That's also one of the beauties. So, but to create a measure, right click on any table, right?
Oh.
Then new measure.
Okay.
That makes sense, right?
Measure.
Click new measure. What happened? That's a new measure. Okay, that's it. So let's call this 5% average price, right? That's the name of the measure. Now, we want average of price, right? So if you see the function you're interested in, just click on it. Yeah. Then it's asking me for what next? The column name.
Okay.
Right? And in this case, we're looking for price, right?
Yes, price.
And that's it. Be careful, remember we're using this table, the top one, we've joined data from the 2 years, right? 2018 and 2019. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, fantastic. So that's the average of the price. Then I said 5%, right? So that's multiplied by what? 0.05. So I've created a new measure. You know it's a measure because it has a calculator sign next to it. Now, I can now drag this, my new measure, to represent, pretty much a new column in my model. So if I drag this into my model,
I don't know, it's not really responding.
yeah, I think maybe I have too many things going on in today.
Or the network.
No, it's not the network actually. I'm actually shortening some.
Why that is? And I wanted to ask, this 0.05. What if you have typed 5 with the percentage sign? Would it still apply?
What do you mean? Come again, please.
Instead of typing 0.05, which is 5%, what if you
No, it won't. You basically write it like you're writing mathematics. Should you get?
Okay, it doesn't recognize the other one I said.
No. Okay, I think my machine is a bit quiet now. So you get the idea here, right? We now have 5%, right, of the average price. Now, the beauty is by creating a measure, right? We're not really, if I go back into the data model for sales and what was it now?
Product brand.
No, this one, no, it's sales. We did it in sales. You can see the measure here, right? Can't you?
Yeah.
But you can't see a column with 5% average price, right?
On the original table.
Yeah, in the model. It's not there.
Yeah, it's not there.
But if you go to product hierarchy, remember we did a calculated column. You can see the volume too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of measure, really. It doesn't take space. It works based on what we call a filter context. I'll explain that later again. But you see the difference now. One basically adds more data to your model, and the other one basically just floats around. So from a DAX perspective, we can use the average function, right? Let's say now we want to find the total number of different prices we have as a company, right? I'm trying to introduce you to another function called count, right? So let me create okay, let me create a new table. Let's have different orders. Let's not summarize it. Okay, let's add the prices. Let's not summarize it. Okay, so I basically want to count how many prices we have, right? Individual prices we have. So again, let's create a new measure. Number of, let me just say, number of prices. Now, I want to give you two different variations. So I'm going to have a 1 and a 2, but this is just the column name anyway. So I'm trying to count. What's the column name? Prices, right?
Yes, prices, price.
Okay, so that's it. That's the DAX function, count, and how it's used. Okay, so I have it here. It's created its number of prices. So if I drag that into, so we have how many prices? 70,034, right? Individual prices, right? That's what count does. It basically just goes into count. So even if there is repetition, it will still count it. Now, I want to introduce you to another DAX function called distinct count, whereby it removes the duplicates. So very quickly, let's do that. A new measure. What did I call that first measure? 1 number of prices. Let me call that 2 number of prices. So this is distinct count. That's it. That's what I'm looking for.
Distinct count, it actually removes the duplicates.
Yes.
Like it doesn't count it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see very quickly now. Again, prices, right? What's going on? Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Prices. So remember the first one was count. This one is distinct count. And that is this one. So I'm going to drag it in here now. Can you see the difference?
Yes, yes. We can see it is not counting the duplicates.
Exactly. So we've looked at average, we've looked at count, we've looked at distinct count, right? I don't want to go through the, the sum, the easy ones that, pretty much, you can.
Basic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's basic, really. I think it's basic. Okay, so what if we wanted to have, say, let's say 15% of the revenue, right? So very quickly, we just create that one, maybe a percentage of the, of your total revenue, basically. So let's call that 15% revenue. You can, I mean, you can call this anything you want, you know, the column name, you can have spaces too. So how do you think we should structure this formula? What exactly are we trying to do?
We're trying to do 15% times the revenue, like the total.
Exactly. That's the keyword. But I wanted to obviously, I said I was going to use some, but very quickly, that's it. Revenue, right? Times 0.15, right?
Yes.
So now, okay. Where do we want to drop this? Let's drop this in this other one. So I want to drop this in this table here. So let's drop it down. Yeah. This is quite.
My system acts like this too sometimes if there are a lot of tabs open.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. But I've done my best to. Okay. There we go. Okay. Obviously, there are lots of tables, you know, there are lots of prices, you know, there are lots of zeros there as well. But pretty much that's what it goes up to, right? So we have 15% of revenue. Now, this is an assumption. Let's say we didn't trust, yeah, for a fact, you know, we want to recalculate our revenue, right? Sales times price, right? You know, we can use a calculated column to do that, right?
Okay.
Now, if we do the sales times price, what's the next thing we are going to do? We're going to add it up, right?
Yes, we're going to add it up.
Now, there's a special function in DAX called iterative functions. Let me stop this share and quickly reshare this. Can you see this on the left? Iterator functions. Can you see that? Sum X, average X, rank X, count X, etc. Can you see that?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, basically, what iterative functions, what they do, this is what they do. They evaluate an expression for every row, right? Then they perform an aggregation. Now, the aggregation might be summing it, finding the average, ranking it, counting it, or finding the maximum and the minimum. Does that make sense?
So, I don't really understand this sum X, average
Okay.
X, and
Okay.
the rest.
Okay, you understand sum, right? It basically just
Yes.
adds everything in that column, right? Now, imagine you want to find revenue.
Okay.
And the formula for revenue is sales
Times
times the price, right?
Yeah.
You know, if
Yes.
it was Excel, what you would normally do is you create a new column, sales times price, right?
Yeah.
Call that
Yes.
revenue. Then you total it to get the total revenue, right?
True.
Now, this iterator functions, they do it for you at a particular one, I mean, all at once. Imagine it's not the sum you want to do, right? Imagine it's the average of certain products. Now, it's easy if you just have, you know, maybe 10, 15 columns in Excel, something you can see. But if you have millions, right, this is where this shines. So I'm saying I want to recalculate revenue, but using an iterator function.
So, like something like, let's say you are dealing with cosmetics and you want to know the revenue on a particular maybe type of soap.
Yeah.
So you just focus on that instead of the whole.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. See, the beauty of measures is, even though the formula can apply to the whole thing, if you drag it into something that has been filtered, it's going to self-adapt. The easiest way is to, let's do two examples, two short examples, and I think we'll be okay. So very quickly, let's create what we can call an alternative revenue. A new measure, alternative revenue, right? So I'm introducing you to an iterator. I need to stop sharing this.
Okay.
Sorry, apologies. Are we good now?
Yes, we are good.
Okay, I'm introducing you to some X functions. Now, you can see the format, right? It's asking you for the table that you're dealing with and the expression. So this thing we want to do, price times sales to get an alternative revenue, right? It's in this table, isn't it? The
Yes.
sales 2018 table. Does that make sense? That's the table.
Yes, that's the table because we joined them.
Exactly. Now, what is the expression I want to evaluate? Price times, is it price times sales, right? Before I press enter, does this make sense?
It does.
Okay, so that's my alternative revenue I'm calculating, right? Now, in the next few minutes, I'm going to go a bit further. We picked price and sales from the same table, right? Sometimes you might want to pick a column from a different table. Does that make sense?
Like you want to pick different details from different tables.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes. I'm just trying to think of an example of
More complex. Okay.
where that can work. Let's go to what's in my product table. Oh, sorry. Let me put this in first. Enter. Very good. Alternative revenue. Let's add that in there. This is I don't want to reboot my system, that's why. Okay, can you see our alternative revenue?
Yes, we can see the alternative revenue.
Okay. That makes sense now. Now, imagine you have a logistics company, right? And the way they are charging you is, say, the amount of sales times maybe the volume of that product times a factor. I'm just making this up now, but I want you to see again the beauty of some X, right? So the logistics company charges you by product category this way. the amount of sales, right? The volume of that product, right? And maybe times 0.0001 or something. That's the formula. But I want to show how you can, use columns from other tables in DAX functions. So let's create a new measure called cost of logistics. Or logistics cost 1. Now, let's think of what we're trying to do here. What operation are we going to do for every row?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Okay, I've just come up with the cost of logistics, right?
Okay.
And the cost of logistics is the amount of sales you make times the volume of that product.
Okay.
Right? Times 0.001. That is the charge for transportation, for logistics.
Okay.
Now, the reason why I'm saying this is, sales and volume, they're in 2 different tables.
Yes, they're in different tables.
So that's why I'm trying to introduce that concept of how do you walk around that, okay? So let's go with some X. I'll write it out, then we'll go through the formula and see whether it makes sense. Okay, in this case now, what table are we going to pick? Is it the product or the sales? Let's start with sales, right?
Okay, sales.
Sales. This is the table. Now, expression. So, sales times, remember, volume, right?
Volume,
Now,
yes.
if I type volume, it's not even coming out.
Yes, because it's not in that table.
Exactly. This is where you bring in another function called related.
Or related.
Now, when you now bring related, I can see my volume here. Can you see the volume now?
Yes, I can.
But the reason why this works is because, you know the way, if I go into our data model, they are all connected.
Yes, there's a connection.
Exactly. So I'm doing sales times the volume times, let's say, 0.001. Just making that up. But now,
Yes.
that is the formula. But why am I using some X? Because I want to get the total. I could have used average X if I wanted to get the average as well.
Okay.
But I'm using some X because I just want to know the total. That's the simple reason why.
And can we also use count? Like if we want to know the figurative, like the numbers.
What do you want to count?
I'm just trying to give examples of what we can use. So we can use some counts. Counts will not be needed, right? Since we're not counting anything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you just need to think about it. What do you want? Frame a question. If you can frame the question, it becomes easier to answer.
Okay.
Because think about it this way. You can count based on order ID, based on products, and you might still get the same answer. All you're doing is just counting number of rows, really.
Yes, count and
maybe where
linking different tables.
Yeah, maybe where your question can shine. If you get deeper into DAX, right? You might put filters on your question, right? And you have a logic. Maybe say you're counting number of rows where the revenue is greater than 2 million.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
A conditional statement. Like
exactly. We'll touch on that very briefly as well. Let's just get this cost of logistics working.
Okay.
So I have the logistics costs as a different measure working. Let me add it into this as well. It dealt with count, so I can delete that one. This one. Let me just add a slicer for. Oh, no. Table, please. Okay. I was trying to create a new table. I clicked on that one. Oh, dearie.
Can we go back, like click on this back stuff so it brings everything back?
Well, I don't want to do more damage than good. Let me just get my model back.
Okay. Please, I thought this back thing, it just takes you back to your last step. If you click on this back thing.
Yeah, on this one. On the, yeah. Okay, so I have a logistics cost now, right?
Mm.
Again, you're dealing with over 80,000 rows, so
It's a lot.
basically just adds them up. Okay, I want to add in a slicer very quickly to bring home a point. Let me bring in states. Okay, we're fine. Okay, now this is the cost of logistics, right? Now, I want to very quickly introduce you to a new function in DAX. It's called calculate. What calculate does is it adds a filter context to what you're doing. So this is the logistics cost for pretty much the whole company, right? 82,093, right? Now, assume I wanted to just get the logistics cost for Colorado, right? I want it to show in this table independent of the other ones. Think about it this way. If I click on Colorado here, this thing is not responding actually. This is so frustrating. Okay, can you see the logistics cost has changed?
Yes, it has changed because I highlighted on Colorado.
Colorado. Okay, fantastic. Okay, let me remove it again so that we can go back to where we were. We're back to the whole thing, no filters. Now, let's introduce the calculate function. It's very easy. But because I'm going to be working with the logistics cost, let me copy that. So this is the logistics cost, right? I'm just copying this so I don't have to type it again. Now let me create a new measure called Colorado logistics. Now I want to use a calculate function. This is what calculate does. Calculate. Now, it's looking for an expression, then a filter. Does that make sense?
An expression, then a filter. So, okay.
The beauty of measures is you can use a measure in a measure. Remember, we calculated logistics cost already, right?
Yeah. So all it needs to do is when you apply the filter.
So this is logistics costs, but I now want to have a filter. So the filter is now state, which is the state, equal to the string Colorado.
Okay, so that's like the limiter, like.
Exactly. That's the filter. I'm now putting a filter
Okay.
on this whole thing. That's why I call it Colorado logistics.
Okay, so we are specific to only Colorado.
Only Colorado.
Mm.
Let me see if I can add that in here.
Logistics cost.
How long that would take? Okay. No. I've added it all. It's just doing its own. Okay, I mean, at some point it's going to come through, and we'll just do a sense check to make sure everything is working. Can you remember that figure we got here? Can you see Colorado logistics now?
Yes, we can see it.
Let me see what happens if I now, try and filter based on Colorado. See what happens. It's working it out, but I would expect the figures from logistics cost 1 and Colorado logistics to be the same. Oh, sorry, I was clicking on Colorado. Let me just let it do its thing. Any questions so far on DAX functions?
Not really. It has been clear so far.
Okay.
You were still going to talk about, I guess we're already talking about filter context.
In fact, can you see what's happened now?
Yes, it's the same thing.
Exactly. But what you just need to know about the calculate function is it overrides all filters.
Okay, variety of filters.
All filters.
Okay.
So I'm now going to uncheck that back. Hopefully, yeah, it's gone back to the whole thing now.
Okay, so you said that it actually overrides other filters. So once we impute any calculate function, any other thing we've put in, like it just filters it out, right?
The filter you use for the car, imagine right now. Let's how will I'm trying to give a very, very good example. I'm thinking of a very, very good way to show you the power of calculate. Okay. Now, this logistics cost 1, right? I'm clicking on it. Okay, this is what we did. I'm thinking of a very good example to show you how it actually works. Basically, you see how maybe this volume 2, this 21,882, right? It's
Yes.
for kale threshold, right? That's
Mhm.
based on this other ID and this product, and it gives you this, right?
Yes.
Now, if you use the calculator, a calculate function based on maybe another order ID and another product, and you drag it into that same column, it's going to override the one for kill threshold. I'm not sure if that makes sense.
Like if we take from this Gobbles orange, which is 181,125, then we take it to the kill threshold. Or is that what you're trying to say?
Let's stick with the logistics one. I think that would be a lot easier.
Okay.
I guess, how will I put it? Okay, let's put it this way. You know, if I click on Alabama now, right, everything will change.
Yes.
Colorado logistics will not change.
Not change. Okay.
It's not because of the heading. It's because in the DAX function for Colorado logistics, the filter context I'm interested in is state location. The state should be Colorado.
Okay.
That's the main reason.
Okay, I get it now.
That's why.
So it's,
Yes, Chigozie.
does it mean you can't do two filters at the same time?
Oh, you can, as long as it makes sense. I mean, you can do, let's see, you can do, think of another filter you can add to this.
Let's say a county in Colorado.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, your database has to be able to support your filtering. So
Filter,
yeah,
exactly. You're right.
So I was probably going to say, let's see, store sizes. What do they look like? Okay, store size. Yeah, they are intense. Okay, let's go back to that. So I can do Colorado logistics, right? This is the first filter, right? Store size, right? Less than, let's say 5. In fact, let me say 15. I'm basically just adding another filter to it. You get.
Okay, so it's like if statements in Excel, right?
In fact, just look at this place. Calculate function, filter 1, filter 2. So
okay.
Yeah, that was why I was asking you that, as long as what we're asking for makes, as long as it makes sense from our model wise. I mean, we're going to get a figure, but the question is, what are we typically, what kind of question are we typically answering? That's the simple logic, but this will work.
Okay, but sorry, please, I just want to be clear. Is it similar to if statements in Excel?
Yes, you can do that. Yeah, you can say that in simple terms. Yes.
It should be conditional if.
But fantastic, because let me share this with you again. Let me share this with you. I don't want you to confuse it. Can you see this sheet of the expressions?
Yes, we can see the sheets.
You can see if you use Excel, your if error, right?
Yes.
But calculate filter, it sits in a different function. I mean, a different class of its own. So you can say, okay, it's kind of an if, which makes sense, but a stronger if in layman's terms.
Okay. Like an advanced if.
Yeah, logical, conditional expression, yes. But filter now, imagine, if VLOOKUPs and HLOOKUPs in Excel.
Yeah.
This is more like
Yes.
exactly a filter based on it. And it's dynamic.
Okay.
I think they say that you have probably over 500 DAX functions, actually. And it's a very
That's
interesting
like
thing.
what is like the I don't even know, the Power BI is like it's relatable, but DAX is now like the more complex part.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I mean, when job recruiters want to, get serious Power BI users from casual users, they'll tell you, okay, you know Power BI, do you know DAX?
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, DAX is actually, that's what
Yeah.
makes you a guru. Yeah. So, okay. I think we've gone
Sorry,
through.
I think is DAX, looking at DAX and the way you are creating the functions and all those permutations, is more like the same logic of using SQL to be able to create, isn't it? The same logic, that logical expression. Correct me if I'm
Yes.
wrong.
Yeah, spot on. But the beauty of DAX and Power BI is you see these measures, right? They float about. It's not tied. You can drag and drop them anywhere. I mean, I can write an SQL statement, right? Combining tables, select, where, having different functions. But for every calculation, I always have to rewrite that SQL formula, the SQL expression. But once I get the logic right in DAX, I can drag and drop it anywhere. I'm not sure if that makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense.
So it means the logic you created, you can apply it and extrapolate it and make it to work on any particular.
Yeah. As long as there is there's a basis for it, yes. I would say it is actually more dynamic than SQL, far more dynamic than SQL. And from a memory standpoint,
the commands they have the same terms with SQL.
No. I mean, they might sound. I mean, to be honest, depending on the version of SQL, SQL, you might be Microsoft SQL Server, it might be MySQL, it might be Postgres SQL. They are very, very similar, but just like language, it's like apologies for using this example. It's like a King James Version Bible and a New International Version Bible. It's the same message, but the wordings are just different. It's the same intent. For example, I mean, Chigozie, are you used to Excel? To SQL?
Yes.
Okay, so for example, in Postgres, right, if you want to find the number of maybe after all the calculations, you just want to show five rows, the top 5 rows. In MS SQL, it's top. In Postgres, it's limits. Sure you get. So it's the same intent, but just slight tweaks. Are we good?
Yes, we are good. Thank
Okay.
you very much, sir, for this section. This is the last section, right?
Yes, but very quickly, if you don't mind, I just want to spend the next 7 minutes, so we close at 5:15. Just the Power BI service reporting and dashboard side of things. That's what I want to do next. So
Okay.
I just want to show you. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Now let's go to that. You can see this page 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say we're happy with our reports and we want to share with the world, right? Power BI desktop. This is pretty much like the name says, desktop. It resides on your system locally, on premises, on-prem. Now you want to publish it to Power BI service. Power BI service is cloud-based, right? So let's say I'm happy with this report, right? Let's publish here. Okay, let's save the changes. I'm trying to basically publish my reports. Okay. I have some workspaces already created in Power BI, but let me just pick one. It's publishing it to Power BI service. Okay, it's done it. Let me now. Okay. Can you see my service, or are you still seeing the same thing?
We are seeing it.
Can you see page 1, 2, 3 on the left here?
Yeah.
Please confirm if you can see my.
On page 1.
Yes, we can see page 1. We're on page 1 now. There's page 2 and 3.
Yeah, but are you seeing it at the bottom or top left?
What's up?
At the bottom.
So you see, you are not seeing. You are still in Power BI desktop. So I've gone to Power BI service. Let me see. Let me share what it came up with. Can you see this now?
Yes, it has changed.
Exactly.
It's
So
not like
basically, after publishing from desktop to service, this is what my Power BI service environment looks like, right? So it's basically, pretty much the same report you have, right? You can now decide what you want to do with it, whether you want to save it, export it, share it with your team and all that stuff. But most importantly, typically for analysts, when you publish your report, it's pretty much not everything you want to share with everybody. So you can create something called dashboards, right? And the dashboard is pretty much a snapshot of your report, or maybe the whole thing. For example, you see this whole page 1, I can pin it to a dashboard as it is, or I can be selective. So say, for example, I want to pick, let me see what's in page 2. Okay. That's best. Just for an example. Now, once I'm in Power BI service, if you see that pin, I can pin that visual, right? So say from those reports, I want to create a dashboard. And the way you create a dashboard is by pinning visuals to it. So let me create a dashboard by pinning this visual, just this one. Let's create, let's have a new dashboard. Let's call it W1 pin. Okay. It's pinning it to a dashboard. Can you see my dashboard now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can see dashboard.
Okay, that's a way. So if I go back to, maybe it's this one I want to take next now. It's an existing dashboard. I think we called it W1, right? Pin. Let's go to that dashboard. Can you see that?
Yes.
So it's almost like, drag and drop, select what you want. Now, there are limitations to pinning individual dashboards versus individual visuals versus pinning whole reports. For example, right? If I needed some interactivity in my dashboard, I have to pin the whole report as it is. But if I pin different visuals, they will just be static. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, Power BI service, believe it or not, it's a whole module and course on its own. It's a different ball game. Security, role access, and all that good stuff. I will stop here. Any questions?
No questions from my end.
I saw someone. Michelle Sofimiari. Hope I'm saying your name right. Okay, it's been a long one. Well, hopefully at least you get to appreciate, the beauty of DAX. It's I would say, it's the core. It's the core of Power BI. It's what would separate you from other people.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, our host also, Pastor.
Yeah, Dr. Ajide has been in different meetings today, so
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
yeah.
And for the program.
I think we want to thank our facilitator, Engineer Leia. Thank you so much. We know that because these are recorded, of course, we'll be able to go back and look at them and use them, and we can use them to scale and to add value to various organizations that we want to go to. So really appreciate you, Engineer Leia. Would get back to, you've done this session, this 1 week, this 1 month for us. We're going to
It's
come
just
up
4 days. It's not 1 month, just 4 days.
Well, it's 4 days. It's technically 4 days, but if you look at it, so we'll come back again with the next topic that we'll need to look at. We'll take a breather and we'll look at the next topic and we'll get. So thank you so much. Thank you everybody who has also been here. Let's share the YouTube to as many people you can share it with. Let it be a blessing to them. Let them use it. And our interest is that people should get knowledge, and this knowledge should help them to scale. We want everyone to scale this year. We want everyone to scale in the employment in any way we are. But like I keep mentioning, which is where I'm putting myself in, to use this Power BI and all whatnot, that we must come to a place of thinking like a CEO, in which you want to be thinking, to be making decisions. Which department is costing me money? Which one is just not costing me money? Why am I spending? Those kind of decisions, where you and those will help us to begin to drill down and begin to look at, okay, how can I use this? And I know, like, creativity is how creative you are depends on how you're able to utilize this. So thank you so much, Engineer Leia. Thank you very much, everybody. So I think with that, we'll draw a close. Thank you so much. So enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.